just going to take a moment and we're going to grab our book or block and we're going to put it between our thighs so that we have that sensation of squeezing our inner thighs towards each other. And depending on how thick your book or block is, it might allow your body to line up so that knees are over ankles, hips are over knees. So nice straight alignment. We're going to roll those shoulders up, back and down a couple times. Inhaling up, exhaling down one more time, up and down. And then gently let those shoulders slope open, elongate through the top back side of your head. Pull the ribs down on an exhale. So feel how that lines up all those joints of your lower body, ankles, knees, and hips in line. And just kind of keep that in mind, especially when we go lying down. While we're still standing, we're going to do just a little bit of standing work. So put your book down and put your right foot up on that book. And then hover your left foot so it's even with the book, but just off of the book. I want you to bend your right knee until your left foot grazes the ground. You're not scooting down like that, right? You're hovering it. And then straighten that right leg. So drop the left and lift, drop and lift, drop and lift. Good. So as you bend your right knee, you let it come forward. I know that sounds counter to what you hear in the gym, but in this, we're just using functional fitness. If you were stepping up a flight of steps, your knee would come forward. Good. 2 more times. And then just hover in this position, right? Lift that leg out to the side a little bit, just lift, lift. But we're just doing an isometric hold here on that right leg. 3, 2, and 1, bring it all the way up. And now we're gonna bend that knee again. And this time we're gonna let that leg slide forward and back. So we're bending the right knee and letting that left leg slide forward and back. Using that quad, using that glute, abs are gently pulled in, so we're not hunching and lifting, we're staying in control. That torso is just sitting down, trying not to fold, right? We might have to do that a little bit when we head to the back. Last 2, no weight on that left leg if you can help it, and last 1. And then as we slide that leg to the side, you don't want to skew your hip, you want to keep it behind you and up. So slide and up, working that right quad, that right glute. 2 more, shorter this time. Good, and back up. Now we're going to tighten this quadricep so the knee won't bend, so that as we slide that leg behind us, it'll stay straight as if you're trying to reach for whatever's behind you. This leg is going to bend. You are going to be slightly tipped forward this time. And you're going to feel that even more in that glute and quad. And just be aware that you don't want the hip to sit out to the side. You want it to drive straight back. Woo! I hope your right glute and quad are feeling this, because mine sure are. Last time like that, here's the fun one. We're going to slide forward and up, to the side and up, stretch to the back and up, forward, side, back. Just 2 more, forward, ow, side, back. Last time, thank heavens, forward, side, back, ouch, step off the block. Take your leg across and let's tip over to the other side and get a nice long stretch down that side. And then we'll come up and we're going to step up on the book with that left leg. We're going to hover the right foot just to book height. We're going to lower it, barely graze the ground, and then straighten the standing leg. So we're barely tapping that leg down. Try not to really put any weight on it as we bend and straighten that left leg. Just 2 more. Beautiful. Bring it up. Extend that leg in front of you. And again, you're going to bend that left knee and let the right leg slide forward and up. So we slide and up. Two more. Nice. Now we go to the side. And again, do your best to drive the hip backwards, not let it skew off to the side, right? So we keep that control of the body. Even your obliques have to work a little bit on the opposite side to keep you from skewing. Nice. Again, I hope you're starting to feel this. I am. Tighten that right quad so the leg will be straight. As you reach backwards as far as you can, you'll probably be able to sit deeper in that left leg, feeling that quad and glute. Nice. Come up. Here we go. All four directions, or all three. Front, side, back, and up. Front, side, back, and up. Front, side, back, and up. One more. Front, side, back, up. Woo! Cross that left over right. And you're going to arch over to the side and feel that stretch come all the way up your body. Nice. And then we are going to come down. We're going to do a miniature set sitting up on this block. So come on down onto your book or block. Bend your left knee in. We're going to take that right leg. We're not going to bring it straight in front, but we're not going to bring it way off to the side. Split the difference. But then I want you to rotate the legs so the inner thigh faces the ceiling. So this is where that core strength has to keep you upright. So you're not going to sacrifice how high your leg lifts by rounding into your spine. If you need to use your hands to keep yourself lifted, that's fine. I'd rather see that. We're just going to lift that leg off the ground. We're going to rotate it even more open. We're going to flex through the heel. We're going to lift. Aha. And we're going to cramp and lift. Again, did you roll back? If you did, try and sit a little forward. You can even shimmy forward on your book. Just a small movement it might be, and you should really already feel this in that quad. 2 and 1. Woo, bring that down. Now, point the toe. Again, rotate that leg nice and open. Sit really tall through your spine and lift, and lift, and lift, and lift. Just 2 more. Lift, and come back down. Flex through the heel again. Lift that leg off the ground, bend it the tiniest bit, stretch the heel, stretch, 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 and stretch, and bring it down. Again, make sure it's off to the side and rotate it open, or you're working a different muscle group slightly. Last one, we lift it off the ground, we sit tall, we bend and stretch, 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 and stretch. Ah. Scoot over a little and bring that right leg behind you, 90-degree angle at your knee, and drop over onto that left elbow. You should already feel a stretch. You'll feel even more if you rotate that hip forward a bit. And then bring that arm up, lift it up behind you, and then finally tuck the rib and the hip together. And we'll lift that up. And we are so fortunate that we get to do the other side. So here we are, right leg is going to come in, left leg is not straight in front nor way off to the side, about halfway, but then it's really important to rotate. Pull those glutes out from under you, so that'll help you sit taller. Flex through the heel and lift it off the ground and lift another inch. Again, rotate it open. Ooh. And bring it down. Point the toes, rotate it open, stay tall, lift, 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 and bring it down. Flex through that heel, keep rotated open, lift it off the ground and push, push, push. 3, 2, 1. one, point the toe, bring it up, and we reach, 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 and down. Oh, knee behind you. Drop over onto your right side, push that knee back, right angles, even flex through your heel, and then sweep it up. Bring it back. Don't forget to tuck those hips and ribs together and bring that hip forward, and then we'll come up. Very nice. Okay, so we have a couple different options, again, depending on whether you have weights or book or a weighted book. So we're going to start lying down. We're just going to do simple ab prep to start with. And we're going to bring that book between our thighs so that we have some awareness of those inner thighs. And I'd like you to take your fingertips, put them on your low abs. Deep breath in through your nose. On the exhale, through your mouth, squeeze the book and notice what changes here in your abdominals. So you inhale and then you exhale, squeeze the book. And you might notice that your abs are tightening and flattening a little bit. But also notice if your tailbone tucks under. You don't necessarily have to do that, right? Stay in neutral spine if you can. All right, leave the book or block where it is for now. Deep breath in, exhale, head, neck, and shoulders are going to float off the ground. See if you can do this not by simply rounding, but by lifting through those abs. And maybe there's still a slight gap under your low back. And then for added challenge, lift your arms over your head. Exhale, bring it on down. Deep breath in. Exhale to lift, inhale, reach your arms overhead. Now the whole time you're holding that book in place, or you can exhale to squeeze it, inhale to reach, exhale, keep squeezed, and release the squeeze a little bit. If you have a book, don't release the squeeze or it'll drop onto you. If you have a heavy book, you have the option to grab the book, and we're going to put our palms underneath it. We're going to exhale, lift up. We're going to inhale, reach the arms overhead by your ears. But when you do that, that's going to add that extra resistance. Exhale down, deep breath in, exhale, lift, inhale, reach, and exhale down, deep breath in, exhale, lift, inhale, reach, and exhale down. So if you had weights, you could have weights in your hand and the block between your legs. Exhale, lift, inhale, reach, and back. One more time, exhale, lift, inhale, reach, and we're going to hold this. You might feel some tension in your neck. If that's the case, bring that book behind your head. Elbows are going to stay wide, not scooping and reaching and crunching, but extending. So you have a swan neck, not a turtle. Then when you're ready, you're going to stack your legs into tabletop. That means your knees are right above your hips and your shins are parallel to the ground. On the inhale, reach those legs long, not low, but long. And if you can, extend the arms over your head. Exhale, stack your knees, elbows wide. Inhale to reach, exhale to stack. Inhale, reach. This is our double leg stretch. Inhale, reach, exhale, stack. Inhale, reach, exhale, stack. Reach on the inhale, exhale, stack. So we're not crunching, right? You can do that in the gym, but in Pilates, it's about staying nice and open and elongated. One more time. We're going to extend the legs and extend the arms if you can, and you're holding here. Challenge yourself to lift the collarbone higher and let the arms go lower, but without dropping your head. I'm going to have you guys stay there for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Head down, everything down. You can put that book on the shins and take a nice little rock side to side, and that should feel good. All right, both feet on the ground. We're going to do a challenging version of single leg stretch. So you're going to put the book up against your right thigh and both hands against that. And then lift your right leg into tabletop. And I want you to use your arms to push against the block. So your triceps should be engaged. At the same time, you're going to use your hip flexor to push against the book. So I'm not letting my arms win. I'm not letting my legs win. They're in a standoff. Equal pressure on both sides. Ribs are down. When you're ready, lift the left leg to match it, then extend it up in the air. And if you want, reach it and lift the head, neck, and shoulders off the ground. Are you still pushing on that right thigh? Make sure your hands are in front of the thigh or the book is in front of the thigh as well as the hands, then both legs come down. Book to your left thigh, it's just above the hip. Hands stack, maybe reverse the stack if you remember which hand was on top. Lift that leg up, perfect tabletop, knee above the hip, not scooted in, shin parallel, and then start pushing. So I'm pushing with my hands as if they're gonna win. I'm pushing with my leg as if it's gonna win, but no, nobody wins. Pressing, you should feel this in your abs, your arms, you might feel your hip flexor a little bit. And then if you want to add on, with those ribs pulled in, you lift that right leg, you extend it in the air, you reach it, and you can lift the head, neck, and shoulders. But make sure that left knee doesn't creep in, it's still in tabletop. And then we'll take a break. We're going to turn this into that challenging version of single leg stretch. So legs are stacked, book is against your right leg, deep breath in. On the exhale, head, neck, and shoulders can stay down or lift up as you extend that left leg and you press that right thigh. Inhale, switch your legs. Exhale, reach through the right leg. Keep the left leg stacked. Inhale to switch, exhale to reach. Inhale to switch, exhale, reach. Inhale, switch, exhale, reach. Inhale, switch, exhale, reach. Inhale, switch, exhale, reach. Keep that going for me, please. You have 4 more, so it's 8 moves. You press. Inhale, switch, you press. Nice, so one leg is staying in that perfect 90 and the other is extending. Beautiful. All right, let's come back and we're going to squeeze that book again. This time we're going to try to put it at the lower half of our legs. So I'm holding it between my knees and my shin. If your book isn't thick enough and your calves aren't wide enough, you may have to adjust this back towards your knees. So legs are in tabletop. Pull your ribs down, nod your head yes, lengthen out your spine. We're going to go into toe touch exercise. So with your abs flat and your low back close to the ground, you're going to inhale, move your thighs open away from you. You're going to exhale and lift them right back up again. So what's important here is to make sure you're not seesawing, belly up, tuck, belly up, back up, right? We want to have control instead and keep those abs pulled in and that low back the same distance from the ground. If you wanted a little extra challenge, which you should already have with that book, you could flex through your heels and make it a heel tap instead of a toe touch. If you wanted even more challenge, you could lift your arms off the ground. You could even bring them up over your head. But notice if those ribs want to pop, you really need to control that core and keep that nice and solid. Just 2 more like this. And then I'm going to ask you to go to that most challenging position and hold and squeeze the book for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Soles of the feet together. Passive inner thigh stretch. You could just let your book rest on your pelvis if you'd like. Giving a little weight to those muscles, those attachments. All right, and then close that up. Bring your feet so that they're underneath your knees. And everything's about hip distance. So just what we did at the beginning of class, hips, knees, ankles lined up. And we're going to take that book, or weight, over to the left side of your hip, okay? And then just press maybe your left hand down on that to hold it in place. Right hand is going to be on the ground for now. We're going to bridge up. In Pilates, your bridge is not tucked, but it's not arched as it would be in yoga. You want to be a straight line from your knees through your hip, minus sagging, through your shoulder. Back of the neck is long. So if you wanted a little extra love, you could lift that right hand and just notice that that left glute has to work a little more. But we're going to put it back down because we're then going to lift that right leg up in the air. And we're going to have to squeeze that left glute a little higher. Lower the right leg and lift it. Now, just for a little experiment, lift the right hand and see how that changes things just a little bit. Now we're going to make this even more challenging. Lower the right leg so it's even with your left knee. Give it a little open and a little close, but make it small enough that your left knee doesn't open, nor does your left hip drop. Open, close, 4. And if that's bugging you, you go back to the lift and the lower. And then right leg down, everything down. I hope that left glute felt that. We're going to shift that book over to your right hip. Right hand is just going to press it down, left hand by your side. Deep breath in, ribs come in, we lift up. We're not tucked, we're not tipped. We're lifted, stretch so that your knees, your hip, and your shoulder in a straight line. When you're ready, lift that left leg up, extend it to the sky. Option to hover your left hand as you point and flex. Inhale and exhale. Make sure you're not tipping your hips. And then finally, if you want, open and close. Open and close, open, close, open, close. Keep it going. And bring that down. Ooh, take a little break. We're going to give those hips a little teeny bit of love here. So we're going to hug those knees in, book behind your right knee, and drop it to the right as your left leg can just rest on the ground and drop open. Little cat thief is in here. Right leg down and left leg up and over. She grabbed an OMG fact. And we go back through center. All right, we're going to bring that book onto the fronts of your shins. So you've added weight, but you've also added a block so you don't get to kick your feet out. We're going to come into rolling like a ball. So we're going to bring our head up towards our knees, curl up in a little ball, forehead towards your knees. Hey, babe. And we're going to exhale to roll. And we're going to start as a stuck bug. And that's fine because we don't want to use so much momentum. We want to control this. Exhaling to roll and inhaling at the top. Exhaling as you roll in, inhaling up. Elbows are nice and wide. And on this next one, we're going to stay up, hold for a moment. See if you can lift that book into tabletop. Bring your hands behind your hamstrings for just a second. Notice if you're super rounded in your spine, try and extend through that spine. And then see if you can let go of those legs. See if you can lift that book and lift those arms. So challenging teaser here. And then bring that down. We're going to put the book on the floor so that we can sit on it. And slide our glutes out from under us. So when you lift your hips up, and if you can get a little bit of a tip by coming towards the front of the book, it makes it easier to hinge forward without dropping into our spine. So that's what we'd like to do. If you need to bend your knees for tight hamstrings, that's fine. Otherwise, keep your head and your tailbone in a straight line, right? Don't let that head get ahead of your shoulders. Swan, not turtle. And extend. And then if you can straighten your legs without rounding your spine or your tailbone, then do so. And then you can reach for whatever you can reach, right? Reaching forward or reaching down, so long as reaching down doesn't round those shoulders. You're doing great. And let's lift up tall. So that's just simply our spine stretch. We're going to come off of the book now, or block. We're going to go into our roll down position. So feet are going to be on the ground, shoulders back and down. We won't use that book at first. We'll add that on in a second. This is an option to roll-ups because roll-ups don't work for everyone's body. And sometimes we get too much momentum. So this is what we're going to do instead. We're going to exhale. We're going to hinge back. Again, you're not turtle, you're hinged. But now pull those ribs in. So you do take a little tuck in that low abdominal area. And if you want more challenge, open your arms into a T and see what that does. Now I want you to just hold this isometric contraction for a few seconds and feel that extra challenge. If you start shaking through your torso, that's awesome. That's our muscle tetany, trying to figure out what's going on here. Then you're going to lower your hands and come up. And if you want, you can even arch that spine into an extension and feel some relief there. All right, so that's our first version of roll down. We exhale to hinge back. On the inhale, we pull the ribs in and we open our arms, all 10 toes on the ground. Exhale to lift. Inhale, maybe we give ourselves a little lift here. Exhale, hinge back. Inhale, open. Exhale, roll up. Inhale, give it a lift. Exhale to hinge. arms open on the inhale and back up. If you want the next level of challenge, exhale back. Instead of a T, bring your arms into a V. Let's hold there and see what happens. If you can see your arms, you've gone into that turtle. So nothing against turtles, right? So arms by your ears, lower your hands. They live long, so they're doing something right. Inhale, lift. Exhale to hinge. Go back to that T if you prefer, or challenge yourself with that V, but ribs are in. And back up again, and we lift. And back. And we open. If you need to lift those leg toes because you have something going on in your knees, or this causes you to cramp in your calves, that's okay. But just, I don't want you hovering in space. Come on up. We have one more added challenge without the book if you want. So hinge back, ribs in. This time, arms by your ears, just like we did in that ab prep. But again, we're not here, we're lifted, but our ribs are pulled in. We're reaching through those fingers, lower those hands. Woo, come up, exhale, hinge back. So now you have T or V or I up over your head and lift. Up if you want, exhale, hinge, T or V or I, your choice, bring it up. You have two more like that because we haven't even added the book yet. What? All right, on this last one, just take a little break, maybe go ahead and bend your knees so that you can grab your ankles and bring yourself into extension. So we let that tailbone press out, we let those abs and those ribs come forward. Head nods, yes. All right, so now we're gonna add that book if you want. You know it's gonna add some weight, or so your weights. If you prefer, or if you have a block, put the block between your knees so that you'll have awareness that you're not gapping your knees open. Otherwise, hold on to your block, exhale, hinge back. Pull your ribs in, and now lift that block and see that that should start adding more challenge. Where can you go? Can you bring that above you? Can you bring it by your ears without anything bad happening in your posture? Lower the book before you try to come up. Inhale, lift if you want at the top. Exhale to hinge. Inhale at the back. Do something if you want with that book. And exhale. Keep that going for me. You have 4 more like that because the book should be adding quite a bit. But you might know this already. On that 4th one, we're going to hold it back. So when you get to that 4th one, find that position, hold it. Reach through your fingers, pull your abs in, back of the neck is long, holding, 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 and lower it. Woo! Oh, guess what? We have one more version with this roll down, and that's to add rotation. Here's what's really important. We never want to roll and then rotate, right? Because that just grinds our vertebra together. So you're going to make a choice. If you prefer to hinge back, you're going to stick with that. If you want to do the rotation without hinging at all, you're going to do the rotation. If you feel that you can hinge back and stay in neutral, then we're going to start a little rotation. You don't have to hinge back very far to start feeling this. And then, of course, if you want to add that last level of challenge, the book is going to come into the arm that's rotating to the side. Be aware of what's going on with your knees. Are they going walk, walk like pistons? If you need to, squeeze them together. Make a single leg so that you know there's nothing bad going on. Now, I put my book in both hands. You can do that, or you can bring it in that back arm. You choose. You have 4 more. So we go one side, that's 1. The other side, that's still 1. Side, that's 2. And side, that's 2. Are we done yet? 3. 3. Last time, up and up. We're going to sit back up on that book. We're going to bring our left leg here. We're going to start with a nice stretch. So you're just going to bring your elbow down and we're going to arch up. So we did a similar stretch, but we did it with our hip tucked back to get the hip flexor. We just want to get the side right now. So we're going to bring those fingers down to the edge of the mat and maybe crawl forward, and you should feel a beautiful stretch through that lower back, your QL, quadratus lumborum. And then lift that up. And then let's just switch those legs around. So right knee is forward, left is back, and we drop onto the right arm. And then we just let that body arch. You can let those ribs lift, the bottom ribs arching, and then rotate and bring that arm down, and you should feel that beautiful stretch all through that low back area to the side slightly. And then we'll lift that up. All right, well, we're already on our side, so let's do some sideline work. Are you pitifully? I'm all tapped out, Mama. We're gonna stack our knees, and we're gonna bring our arm underneath our ear. You wanna make sure you're not hinged forward looking at your legs, you're long in that upper body. You're gonna put that book on top of the leg, and you're not gonna hold the book, you're gonna push the book against the leg. Lift your waistline, drop it down, lift it and leave it there as if you have a mouse house. We're gonna lift this top leg, knee and ankle on the same plane. So I'm not leading with my heel nor my knee at this point. Just two more because we have a couple rounds of this. Good. And then heels are going to stay together and we're going to pivot open. So you'll feel this a little bit more in your rotator muscles. Is your waistline still lifted? Good. And then we're going to bring the knees together. We're going to lift the heels and we're going to do that same rotation open. And you'll feel that a little differently. You can be mean and push down on that book if you want. Last two, last one. All right, we're going to split the difference here. We're going to take that bottom knee, we're going to keep it slightly bent, but we're going to bring it to about 45 degrees and then do the same with that top leg. So this is the nicer version, by the way, you're welcome. Lift that leg up, bring it forward. I want you to go toe down, toe down, toe down. You should feel this again in that outer hip area. Just 4, 3, 2, and 1. Point the toe, draw me a big circle, bring it in front. Try not to roll back on your glutes. Controlling your abs. Forward, up, back, forward, up, back, and down. One more this direction. Only make the circle as big as you can and control it. And we flip and go the other way. Woo. And relax. Ooh, I hope you guys felt those. All right, we're going to do a side plank. We're going to do two versions of our side plank today. So we're going to start with the elbow directly under the shoulder, push that shoulder back, lift up out of it. Options, of course, on your side plank. If you want to be on the sides of your thighs, you lift, but both knees are bent and all 10 toes in the air. Wide straddle, close straddle, or stack. Let's take that book. Put it on your top hip, again, push it down, and from there, just press up against it. Press, press. Small movement, not a very heavy weight, but you might feel this. Farther down your leg, try that. 1, out, 2, and 1. Bring it down. Next challenge, put that book or block where your feet normally would be, or if you're on the sides of your thighs, they go here, and go into that side plank up here. So it's going to add a little extra challenge because it's putting our lower body a little higher, a little more even with our upper body. Notice we're on our forearms, not our hands. That's important. In Pilates, you want this challenge and bring it down. Woo! All right, we get to do all that love on the other side. So we're going to roll over, opposite side, bend our knees, stack everything 90 degrees, even that torso. 90 degrees at your hips, lift the waistline, lower the waistline, lift it, lower it, lift it, stay there. Book on that top leg. That top leg moves as a unit. Two more. Now heels go together, we pivot the knees open. So even though we're working those hips, those outer hips, those rotators, those glutes, your waistline is not on vacation. And then when knees are going to come together, we're going to lift the heels and we're going to rotate here. Good, and then we're gonna scoot that knee down a little bit. Top leg is gonna go straight, bring it in front, toe down, and we tap and lift, tap and lift. Check it out, make sure that waistline is still lifted. Good, and then here we go, we point the toe. We bring it forward and up, behind us without rolling onto the glute. Forward, up, back and down. Notice if your whole body is going woohoo and control. So we stay quiet in that torso, and then we're going to reverse, right? So Pilates is about that control in the center of your body while the rest of your limbs are moving about in long, supple movements, and relax. Oh, give that hip a little love as you prop yourself up for your side plank. Elbow underneath your shoulder. Shoulder pushes back, lift up out of it. Again, four options on that side plank. You choose your favorite option, come up in your side plank, put that book on your leg or your hip, and we lift up. And bring it down. Because of course we have that second side plank with our lower body elevated a little bit to make this more challenging, right? So we change our center of gravity, we change how gravity is acting on us. It's giving us more. That's why we're low to the ground, to give us that extra challenge. Shoulders back, protect that shoulder, and gently down. All right. You're going to leave that book at one end of your mat and roll over onto your abs. And bring that book out in front of you. So when we're doing extensions, your toes are pointed, not tucked, and your toenails are flat on the ground. Your legs can be zipped up or they can be hip distance apart. I like you to lift your kneecaps without lifting your toes. So think about that. Kneecaps lift, toes stay down, that engages your quads. Bring your head in line with your spine so you're not lifted like a chicken, but you're not rounded and tucked. You're extended. And then press down on your book to lift your upper body. So you should just feel this in your upper spine, and then squeeze the shoulder blades together. Feel that extra work. Back of the neck is long. And then we'll exhale as we come down. So you're going to inhale to prepare. Exhale, press down on the book, squeeze back. Inhale at the top, shoulders not up in your ears, but relax down, yet arms straight and down. Deep breath in. Press down to lift on the exhale, pull back on your inhale. Are your toes on the ground, right? So we're not letting that lower body come up. We're just using that upper body to get that nice extension. One more time. Exhale, lift, bring it here, rotate so that your pinkies are on the ground, thumbs are up. And now you're gonna lift those legs off the ground, and you're gonna give me a little flutter kick. Now, if you want, put your hands on each side of your book and add that flutter. 2 and 1. We're going to press back into our resting position. So hips go back on your heels. If you have some knee issues, it's really nice to take that book and put it back here so you have a little extra gap between your knees, or behind your knees, between your hamstring and your calf. And then as we come up, we're going to put that book down where our feet would be for a forearm plank. So just let your toenails rest on that for now and come down. And this is a little bit of a lazy arch. So your low back is probably dipped down, and that's fine. If you feel that this is uncomfortable, you're going to already lift those abs up a little bit. Hands for a good plank are not here in a tripod. That's easier than parallel, right? We want skis. Elbows underneath your shoulders. Shoulders are up, back, and down. Tuck the chin. Keep your toes where they are, but start lifting your sternum, your chest, your ribs, and your belly button. So you're in a pre-plank. If you think, well, I don't feel anything, then make sure you're not sagging. You're pulling in, and then finally, tuck your toes, lift the kneecaps, press through the heels, and come up into your higher plank But again, we're on our forearms, center of gravity stays low to the ground to give us that extra challenge of working more than if we were up on straight arms, right? Working our abs more. So think about these checkpoints. Your shoulders aren't squeezed together, they're not rounded, they're broad. Ribs are in, booty is tucked under, not piped up, not sagging. Thighs are lifted, press through those heels. Woo, bring that down, and we will press back one more time, resting position. That should feel good. Again, use that book if you like that, arms out or by your sides. And then we're going to come up, hands underneath. We're going to round and we're going to extend. Cat-cow through that spine. All right, we're going to add a little challenge to our bird dog position. So take that book behind your right leg and then bring your heel as close to your booty as you can, right? So that you're squeezing that book. I don't want you to drop it. If it's slippery, then you'll do this without the book. Flex through the heel. Hands are right underneath you. Give me a cat and give me a cow. And then find neutral by bringing your low abs and your ribs in, but not sagging nor tucking, right? Then when you're ready, you're going to lift that right leg and you're going to try to get the knee even with the hip. Not arching, right? But not dragging. If that's enough, stay there. If you want more, extend that left arm by your left ear. If that's enough, stay there. If you want a little more, tap and lift. Tap and lift. Try to keep your book with you. Try to keep your spine in neutral and come down. Perfect timing, my book fell. Now you're going to bring that book behind your left leg. You're going to squeeze it, bring that heel really close to your booty. Maybe point the toe or flex, whichever you feel will keep you there grounded. No cat, no cow, it's neutral spine. And then lift that leg up so you can't really see your knee. If that's enough, stay there. You want more, extend that right arm. You want more, you're going to tap and lift. And coming down. Woo! And we are headed over onto our spine. Now I get to use the book to give a little bit of stretchy love here, right? So we're going to bring that book behind our right leg and hug it in. We're going to let the right leg drop open and the left leg drop to the left. Just passive little inner thigh action here. And then as we come back to center, we straighten that left leg, flex to the heel, and try and get the back of the leg closer to the ground. You're going to pull that right knee in nice and close, and then roll the tailbone down. So now with the tailbone down, see if you can bring that knee a little closer. And then flip your book, keep your knee close, but flex through the heel, and then finally straighten that leg. Now, you just change the length of your arms, so you should be getting a deep hamstring stretch and calf stretch. Point, and then flex. Point and flex, maybe rotate some circles here. And then finally bend that right knee. Book is going to come on the outside of that right leg. And you just go a little bit of the way and you should feel that outer hip stretch. Point or extend that right leg, flex down, toe down for an IT band. And then option to leave the book on the left side for your knee to land on, or put it underneath your right hand to get a deeper stretch. As you come back through center, we'll drop that leg open for a passive figure four, and then we'll bend that knee for a slightly deeper stretch, and we're going to push the book up against that leg. Notice if your left hip lifted, try and even that back out. And then finally, crisscross right over left, and book on your left shin. Take a little rock side to side. And once again, book underneath your right hand, and we drop to the left. Woo, back up through center, uncross. That right leg should feel better. book behind the left knee, open both in opposite directions, just a little passive inner thigh here. And then straighten the right leg, bring the left leg to center, hug it in, roll the tailbone up, and then press the tailbone down, and yet try and bring the thigh a little closer. And then we're gonna flip that book and lift the leg, and then straighten that leg. We're gonna point and flex and give some rotations, pointing and flexing and rotating. And then we'll bend that knee in. We're gonna put the book on the outside of that left knee. Give a little tug across your body, and then option to put it on the right side for your knee to land on, or put it underneath your left arm to get a deep twist. As you come back through center, passive figure four, and then bend the knee and press that left thigh open with the book. And finally close that gap, lift your legs, and the book goes on your right shin. And we take a little rock side to side. And then book to your left, knees to your right. Back through center. You're gonna roll over or roll up to meet me on your hands and knee squeeze. Let's roll through a cat and extend through a cow. Back of the neck is long. Walk those hands a little bit forward, scoot that tailbone back, cow and cat. Cow forward and cat back. Good. Then tuck those toes, high plank, walk it back, press back. Maybe walk those ankles out a little bit. And then wide stance, and we're going to walk back, hang, nod yes, and shake no. Bend your knees, hands on your thighs. Extend that spine, cow, round cat, extend cow. From there, lift your toes, put your weight in your heels and your booty. Bring your hands to heart, bring yourself up. Have a wonderful day. I have trivia or OMG.